And today's show is going to be all about my all-time favorite piece of beef to smoke. And of course, I am talking about the chuck roast. So what I want to do here, I want to turn these cameras down to the board. I want to show you how you are going to pick out the perfect chuck roast. We will then get it all seasoned up, fire up my Z grills, get it on, and all we have to do from there is wait. So let's turn these cameras down on the chuck and let's start the show. So anytime you are picking out a chuck roast to smoke, you want one that is going to be well marbled, and also it's got to be about 2.5 inches to 3 inches thick. I mean, you can go thicker than that if you've got one, but I usually like to keep it in that range here again, and well marbled is definitely what you need. And I am going to keep this brisket light with the salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. I keep this mixed, pre-mixed. I mix my own. I keep it in the cabinet. If you wanted something fancy, you could use your favorite beef rub. You just want to make sure that you get enough rub on. Make sure you get both sides, and of course, don't forget to get those ends. I like to rub the beef down about an hour or so before putting it on the pit. So I will rub it down, leave it on the board, let it come up to room temperature, and fire up my Z. Always remember, when you first fire up your Z grills, you're going to get that heavy smoke in the beginning. You want to open that hood, let that smoke dissipate. I am going to run sherry pellets. Once that smoke dissipates, I will shut it down, and it is time to get the chuck roast in. We are going to set that dial at 250 Fahrenheit. Chuck roast goes in. We will let it sit for approximately 3 hours. At that time, I'll bring you guys back. Alrighty, all, and just like that, we are 3 hours into the cook no peek. And as you can see, my Z grills is hanging right at that 250 Fahrenheit. That is perfect. As we open it up together and take a look at the Z grill, you can see we've got a nice bark starting to form. We've got some spritz on a straight out water spritz. If you wanted to go 50-50 apple cider vinegar water, please do so. We will get the meat spritz down the tops, the bottoms, the sides, and then we will shut it down and let it go a little bit more, as right now we are showing 154 internal on this piece of chuck. We want to get that up into the stall at least 165 to 170, somewhere in that range. 3 hours in, we'll let it go for another hour. At that time, we may be in the stall, but when we get there, I'll bring you guys back and show you the next step. Alrighty, all, we are 5 hours into the cook, and we've only managed to get up to about 156 internal on the piece of chuck. We are easily in the stall. You know that because we have been sitting there for about an hour or so. So that is going to be fine with me. And as you can see, as we get this piece of chuck out, look at the juices on the chuck, the moisture on the chuck. You want that in the tin, so we will allow that to drip in there. And I am definitely digging the color. So what we're going to do now is we will get that tin on the board. We will just allow the chuck to sit in the pit and rest, because now we've got to fix up that tin, and that is going to be 1 onion going in. That is just going to be a loose slice. A little bit of Worcestershire. How about some prepared horseradish? Better Than Bouillon, and about 1/8 cup of water. Just give that a little bit of mix. We'll get a rack in there. We want to keep the beef off the, we want to keep the chuck out of the water, so keep it up in the air a little bit. And then we will get some foil. We've got to seal it up nice and tight. Once you get it all sealed up, you could put your probe back in. A little tip here, we pulled it out at the 156, 157. She might have carried up a degree or two as it's been sitting in the pit. When you put the probe back in, you're gonna wanna be right around that range that you pulled it. Once all that checks out, we will get it back on the pit, allow it to run anywhere from 250 to 275, and we are gonna take this right up to toothpick tender, or around 200 or so. At that time, I'll bring you guys back. Alrighty, all, and believe it or not, 6.5 hours is what this one is gonna ring in at. 5 hours to get up to that stall, and only about an hour and 20 minutes or so to get to about from about 550 all the way up to 203. I'll take that every day. But before we get this out here on the board and take it to the last and final step, we want to make sure this chuck roast is toothpick tender. And to do that, just carefully unwrap that foil back. Remember, there's going to be a lot of steam buildup in there. And get your probe and just start to probe it. It should go through with hardly any resistance like butter. And if all that checks out, it is ready to get on over to the board. We will allow it to sit on the board probably for about 5, 6, 7 minutes or so. Then I'm going to bring you guys back. We are going to slice it open. We are going to do that taste test, talk about it, and close out the show. Alrighty, all, and just like that, we are ready to do the big reveal. And as you can see, I've got all my goodies ready here. Fork, I've got some of that au jus, and I got a piece of bread to fix it up. And here you go. And this is just, you slice this like you would any other meat. And you can see we are definitely nice and tender. I mean, she is pull apart tender on the edge. This is exactly what you want to see. You're going to treat this just as you would any type of brisket or something. We've cooked it up into that 203. You can actually rip this and pull this apart, but we want to do some of these slices. And this is more of, would you say, like the flat. This is a lot less lean over here. Again, pull apart is what you want. Now, of course, if we pulled it around to this end here, you are going to get a lot more of your moisture. You've got a lot more fat content over here. I've got a couple pieces here laid out on the board. And I've got a piece of bread. You know, I am a sucker for the bread part of it. I've got some onions. We will get a little bit of onion down. And of course, a little bit of hit of that au jus on. And of course, I've got Molly right down there on standby. And cheers. Alrighty, guys, so here you go. You know, this is just like a brisket flat. You're going to get a little bit pull apart in the fatty sections. Otherwise, it is going to be more to the point of a flat. And I got to tell you, she has plenty of moisture. And you put it on bread like this, or you just serve it. Serve it on a plate with some rice or something. You got this au jus right here. That is the key. That is the reason we put that tin underneath. You follow these steps, and that is going to get you there every time. And look, that is going to close out this show here. Again, my name is Tommy. I appreciate you all for watching. And until next time, we will see you soon.